every time we look up, Daniel Jenkins is doing something good. What have you seen from him in camp?
Seen a lot of good things from Daniel in camp. Really starting last spring, he got a new lease on life as far as it was his time. I don't think you're not doing it. But when you've been on the bench and you've been redshirted, and after a couple of years, you're like, hey, it's my time to play. I think with Grigsby leaving, I think he saw that there was an opportunity to get in there and play. And we played multiple backs. We played a number of backs. So he didn't want to just be one of those guys that was part of a rotation. He wanted to really make a difference. And so you see the strides through spring and then through our summer practice and in the classroom and on the field. He's really doing a lot.
So it was kind of a mental switch that came on as well as a physical?
I just think a maturity switch, that's why they have red shirts, for a kid to go through a red shirt year, then another year to kind of learn as a red shirt freshman. It was just more, his time. He's old enough now. He's been in enough games where he can take on the responsibility. So, yeah, but in the classroom and on the field and in our blitz pickups and all in the mental part of the game, he has flourished. But again, that comes with being in a system for several years, messing up for several years, getting yelled at for several years, and then the game starts to slow down. You just got it all figured out, and then I can perform.
Yeah. Scrimmages are always really important for young guys. So what would you like to see from Kadeem on Saturday?
I really would like to see from Kadeem just him picking up his pass protection responsibilities. He's been doing a lot better with that. Being patient as far as hitting the holes and reading the run blocking, which he's done a nice job at. He can run the ball. And he's a physical player, and he's a kid that if he keeps on improving, hopefully he can help us this year. But really the big thing is, for me, is pass protections and seeing if, just what we were talking about Daniel, will the game start to slow down for him? Will he, will he not be as jittery? Will he, nice and easy with his movements? And that's tough for a true freshman, He's got a lot of issues that true freshmen have, not only in this team, but around the country. The game's still moving very, very fast. And but it's slowing down with him. I'm really encouraged by his progress. I'm really encouraged about the time and the work he's putting in off the field. And it's starting to slow down for him.
With this offense, you're not looking for the guy who can carry 35, 40 times, in a game. What gets you on the field? Is it your pass block? Is it your catching? Is it your running ability? Is it the total package?
It's the total package. They're here to, they're running backs, so obviously carrying the mail, toting the mail is very, very important. But in today's football, you could have a run play. You can't just stick a kid in and say, okay, you put you in on this running play and not be checked up pass play at any instance. So they have to know both. So besides running the ball, pass protections, obviously we have talented quarterback, we have talented receivers, and we need to keep number 8 on his feet, not on his back. And you miss a blitz pickup, that could be the end of the season for a quarterback. And it takes away the chances for our big play receivers to make plays on the backside. So without a doubt, pass protection. Blocking, to me, is the most important thing. Those guys have been running the ball all their lives. Ever since Little League, they've been the best running back. So being a running back, that comes natural to them. But pass protections and on runs, run blocking, making sure you're doing it with the right technique, with the right force, and you're not just out there, hey, I only run the ball and I don't block. That's not what I get paid to do, so to speak, the NFL thing. But as long as they're pass protecting and when they have run blocking responsibilities, really sticking it up there and getting after people. Those are the two big things. Because like I said, the fun part and the stuff that they're on scholarship for and the stuff they have all the notoriety for, whether it's their hometown or in their family or in their high schools from running the ball, that comes natural.
Timey has hinted that he might be used in some different ways this year without revealing anything you don't want people to see. Is that an accurate statement that he might find some new wrinkles for the big guy?
Well, yeah. Well, Timey's a multifaceted player. He's got a lot of skills in a lot of areas, and he can do a number of things. And when you've got a big guy like that that's athletic, that has good hand-eye coordination, that can run the ball, that can catch the ball, that can block, that can motion him and block, motion him and catch the ball, motion him and run the ball. He adds to your offense. There's no doubt about that. Same way for him. It's that time timing. You know, he's been here a couple of years now. He's going to his third year, and he's in that same mode. He's ready to break out and do some things and really show his skills.
Go ahead.
In your system, how many running backs do you really need in your rotation that can get into a game?
Wow, you know, I don't know how many would be a game. That would just depend on health and who's hot. You know, who's healthy and who's hot with the ball in their hands. That'll depend on how many times, you know, who's playing in the game. But I just feel like the way I go about it is I look at it as we're going to use most of our guys, if not all of our guys, this season. That's the way I look at it. So I prepare a guy that may be 4th or 5th on the depth chart the same way I prepare guys in 1st, because you get a couple of injuries. A guy gets hurt in the middle of the game you don't expect. Guy gets sick. All of a sudden, you know, you're in game 7, game 8, and that 4th-string guy is a guy you're counting on. So, and I've always just kind of prepared that way, and it's always served me well. I've always been glad I've prepared guys that way. So I just look at it as a season that we're going to, at some point in time, we're going to need a guy to pick up a blitz. We're going to need a guy to help us get a first down. We're going to need a guy to get us through a series, get us through a quarter, or maybe a guy to play 3 or 4 games down the stretch that in the beginning of the season he may have been just on special teams. And so that's kind of how I look at it. You know, obviously we've got some smaller backs, so and we've got a couple, you know, one guy who's big, Greg, who's out right now, obviously, and Tommy could do a little of it, but you got small backs, so you got to figure out they're going to get banged up during the season.
Do you do anything with them? I mean, you got a guy like Keola who's had a history of injuries. Do you handle him different than maybe if he was a guy who had never been dinged up? I mean, do you, obviously he's been limited in some scrimmages, but is that a guy you're like, okay, he's toted the rock 15 times, maybe we want to get him out for a little bit?
Right. Well, what does he have to prove to us? You know, I mean, it's twofold. Keeping a guy like Keola fresh, who is smaller, keeping him fresh for the season because we want him to make it all 13 games, and also it gives us a chance to those reps that a person like Keola would be taking. It gives those other guys a chance to get more reps. If that gives one guy 3 extra reps or 5 extra reps, or gives each guy 2 extra reps apiece, that's 2 extra reps for them to get better on the field. Us watch it on film and talk about it. You know, Keola's got nothing to prove. Since he's been here, he's been a player, playmaker. He's been sturdy. He's been somebody who's been sound, someone you can count on. He doesn't have to have to prove any of that to us.